Good, good afternoon, Miss Amina. Good afternoon, Ma.
Hello, good afternoon. Yeah,
How are
good
you doing?
afternoon. Doing just fine. Thank you. And you?
Fine, thank you. Happy to have you here.
Same here. I'm grateful.
Okay, so we are live. I would like to
Okay.
welcome our guest uh, speaker, all the viewers who are in attendance. Today is the 26th day of October 2025, and
Okay.
we are bringing to you one of our topics for our
Okay.
FIAE One-on-One session that is brought to you by FINAL's Initiative for Academic Excellency. And today we shall be discussing the double crisis, child marriage and teenage pregnancy across Africa. We shall be looking at the
Okay.
causes, the consequences, and the solutions. And to
Okay.
welcome you, our guest speaker, Mrs. Amina Yetunde Ibrahim Ismail, you are welcome. Mrs. Ibrahim Ismail is a seasoned educationist, child development advocate, and head teacher of Trust Intellect International School that is in Nigeria. She's renowned for her dedication in nurturing young minds through quality, faith-based, and value-oriented education. She has successfully led various initiatives that promote academic excellency, moral discipline, and parental collaboration. Beyond her leadership in education, Mrs. Amina is a strong voice in the campaign for girl child empowerment and the overall well-being of children. Her passion lies in building safe learning spaces where every child can grow from intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. Mrs. Amina, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Yes.
We're so happy to have you. So I'll dive right into this very interesting topic that saddens our hearts. What exactly defines child marriage, and at what age is the most prevalent across African countries?
All right. First up, before we go, should I leave it like this or go ahead? Hello?
Uh, yeah, hello.
Should
Yeah,
I make
whatever.
should I make myself visible?
Yes, please. Yes, please. It would be prudent
All
for
right.
our audience.
All right. All right. Once again, thank you for having me, and I'm so grateful that I am a part of this. Before we go, I'd like to quickly say what a coincidence that in the spirit that I think we had the International Day of the Girl Child on the 11th of October, and I think the atmosphere is still on. And so, coming up with this topic, I think it's a good one and one that I think is going to help us as well and to also reduce some problems regarding this topic. Once again, thank you for having me. And now to the question that what exactly defines child marriage and at what age should these come on? Well, I'd say child marriage is any formal marriage or informal union where at least one party is under 18 years old. And with this definition, it is most common to the girls, far more than the boys. Because from my experience here in Nigeria and from statistics, I get to see that we see girls getting married, or let me say, underaged girls. Now, what is my own definition of underage girl? A child that is way below 18 years, but let's say 15 years. That it's not even in the constitution that 15-year-old girl should get married. So in many parts of Africa, the highest concentration is marriages occurring before age 18, with substantial shares happening before age 15 in the most affected countries. So the global stock of women who were married in childhood is large, and sub-Saharan African holds a major share of that burden. So basically, my own definition of child marriage is getting a young girl, a child who is still at her teenage years, married, which is not appropriate.
Thank you
Hello,
very
I hope
much,
that
Mrs.
answers my
Amina.
question, your question
Yes,
rather.
it does.
Yes.
Yes, it does. You have explained what child marriage is and given us a pertinent range of the age. And now that our
Yeah.
topic is vast, it's not just child marriage and teenage pregnancy. How are these two interconnected, and why would we consider it as a double crisis?
Hmm. Okay. These two are tightly interconnected, very, very, very connected. Being married as a child, you see, increases the likelihood of early sexual activity, early childbearing, and even reduced contraceptive access and limited ability to refuse sex. However, pregnancy, planned or unplanned, can push girls into marriage very early. So together, child marriage and teenage pregnancy, together they create a kind of double crisis, as said in the topic, because they compound harms, health risk, interrupted education, curtailed life opportunities, and economic dependence, multiplying to short-term and long-term harm to girls and the society.
Oh,
Hello,
thank you very much. Yes, thank you very
you're
much,
welcome.
Mrs. Amina. That gives us the interconnection between these two. And then now looking at the statistics, which African
Okay.
regions actually have the highest rates, and what do the current statistics show in relation to child marriages and teenage pregnancies?
Okay, well, according to UNICEF data, the United Nations, I think sub-Saharan Africa has both high prevalence and high uh, absolute numbers of child marriage and teenage pregnancy. From the data, it shows that in Eastern and Southern Africa and in Western and Central Africa, adolescent birth rates and births before age 18 are far above global averages, roughly 1 in 4. For example, maybe 25% in these subregions gave birth before age 18 in the recent report. So sub-Saharan Africa also contains a large share of the world's child brides. The region accounts for a major portion of the global total after South Asia. So I'd say sub-Saharan Africa has the most prevalent teenage pregnancy and child marriage.
Oh, that's
And here,
interesting.
and sorry, are we
That's
together?
interesting. Yes, we are.
Okay, okay. Hello?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Sub-Saharan
so and here,
African areas. Yes, please go ahead, Mrs. Amina.
okay. And so here in Nigeria, I would say we have it more in the northern part, considering my experience, because I was born and bred in the north. So while growing up, sometimes I just maybe when I was in GSS 2 or GS 3, thereabout, I could remember that we just got to school on a day. And so I was told that one of my classmates got married. And then I was like, oh no, and this girl never entered us. But all of a sudden, at what age? At the age of 13. A week later, we got to know that this girl ran away. Of course, she has to run away because we wouldn't know why. But, at that age, it sounds so ridiculous. Very, very ridiculous. So here in Nigeria, we have it more in the northern part. And across Africa, we have it more in the sub-Saharan.
It is quite sad that we are having so many areas and African countries that are experiencing this. And one would say probably this could be caused by poverty or culture norms, gender inequality that would contribute to this. How exactly do some of these causes actually contribute to child marriage and the teenage pregnancy?
Hello?
Hello, yes. Um, my
Hello?
question one, can you hear me, Mrs.
Hello?
Amina?
I couldn't hear you before. Now I can hear you clearly.
Oh, okay.
Are we
Um,
together?
I was saying, yes, yes, we
All
are
right.
together. I
Okay.
was saying, what are the causes of these teenage pregnancies and child marriages, especially in Africa?
Okay. A lot of factors, a lot of causes. For some, I would say poverty. For poverty in some families would make some people want to raise their status. From experience, I see that some parents would like to get their children or their girl child married off to an influential person in the society in order to gain a kind of sustenance. So poverty, to some extent, would make her, cause this. And then for the teenage pregnancy, I would say lack of exposure or education would also make such a girl to just get impregnated unnecessarily. And then another reason is, uh, let's say, culture now. In some culture, they believe that getting a child married off at a very early age will avoid a kind of it will bring a honor to them, so that maybe after some time while the child is growing, the child would not have to start loitering around with boys or chasing after boys. And to avoid that, and to also avoid stigma, kind of, they would want to get their child married off to someone at a very early age. Also, another cause could also be that, just like I've said earlier, for some parents, they can't afford taking their children to to school. They'll see that, okay, you have grown, you are still in your teenage years. If you cannot go to school, if you can't afford taking you to school, let's just get you married. Let's just get you married to someone. This is one of the causes. Another cause is also economic independence and many other causes like that. So these are some of the causes that make some parents marry their child off, or for some children to just get pregnant unnecessarily, way before time or at a very early age.
It's really sad that they do have to make these kind of decisions in relation to
Yeah,
their
very, very
lives
sad.
at a very young age.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how exactly does this actually affect their education, their health, and their future opportunities, given the fact that they're getting married? Like, for example, you gave an example of a 13-year-old and probably
Hello?
less, or
Hello?
15.
I'm
Hello,
off.
can
I'm
can you
off.
hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Zamina?
Hello? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I was saying, how exactly do all these things or these factors affect the girls' education, their health, and their future opportunities, given the fact that they're married off or get pregnant at a young age? You give an example, 13 years, 15 years, or even less. How does this affect them? Mrs. Amina, did you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, did
Hello?
you hear me?
Oh my God. No, no, I didn't hear you. It went
Oh,
off.
sorry. Sorry about that. There must be either network
Yes.
interruption. Yes, I was saying, how does this affect girls' education, their health, and future opportunities?
Okay. How does early marriage, right, and teenage pregnancy affect their education?
Yes, their health
Is that a
and their future
question? Because
opportunities.
I'm so sorry, it was breaking at my end.
Oh,
I hope
sorry
I got the
about that.
question. I got the question rephrased right, right?
Yes, and in addition to the education,
Okay.
include health and future opportunities.
Well, this affects them a whole lot. It impacts them a whole lot negatively. They sharply, you see, these put together sharply increase school dropouts and reduce completion rates, because by the time they are being married off, of course, they wouldn't want to, for that they are in their husband's house. No husband at that age would want to permit such a girl to go to school. Girls who marry or become pregnant early are far more likely to leave school. They limit their learning, vocational skills, and chances for employment. So that loss of education reduces lifetime earnings, bargaining power, and the ability to access health and legal services. And this perpetuates dependence and limiting civic participation. Evidence shows lack of education is among the strongest predictors of child marriage, and the relationship works both ways. And another thing is that this also impacts them in another way, that there's going to be a cycle, kind of, that, okay, if once you get married early, you do not have any work at hand, you do not have anything that you are doing. Now you face childbearing. After birthing those children, and they see that, oh, their mom is not doing anything, kind of, they feel that is the best way. So there is no role model, there is no one to look up to say, okay, I want to look up to this person so that I can become this person. The only person they can look up to is looking at their mother who gave birth to them, not doing anything. And the cycle continues like that. And they feel that is the best lifestyle, kind of. So this greatly affects the society. Hello? 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 Oh my God. Hello?
Adeke, are you there?
Hello?
Adeke? Miss Amina, can you hear me?
Hello?
Sis
Good
Leila.
Hello?
afternoon, ma'am.
Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
We can hear you, ma. We can hear you. Miss Amina, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am, we can hear you.
Oh my God.
It's like the network is from our side.
Ma,
It's
can you hear us?
breaking. It's breaking.
Adeke is back.
Hello?
Adeke has
We
temporary
can hear
network
you
issue,
right,
but
bright and
Adeke
clear.
is back.
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Adeke, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. It's raining heavily in my location, so I think that's why the network is jumping a bit.
It's okay. Bisamina, can you hear Adeke now?
Mrs. Amina?
Hello? Oh my God.
Hello, yes, I can hear you. Can you
Hello,
hear
me.
me?
Hello, Miss Adik. Hello? Can you hear
Yes, I
me?
can. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you right now too.
Okay. Nice. Sorry about the network. It's raining pretty
It's
heavily in
fine.
my
I
area.
understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, for you.
So I was saying, in your discussion, you mentioned how these different families and communities are experiencing this. And I would say, what are the economic consequences of these practices on the families, communities, and natural development?
Oh my God. Don't know.
Miss Amina? Miss Amina, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, Miss Amina, can you hear me?
I can't. Hello. I can't. I could only pick what you said. I can't hear you. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
The
Oh
problem.
my.
Um, Hello, is this better? Can you
It's
hear
it's
better?
it's giving a loud sound at my end.
Uh, Sorry about that. Is this
Okay.
better? Can you hear me now?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So I'm saying, what are the economic consequences of these practices on families, communities, and natural development?
Okay. Economic consequences, right? I could pick that.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
on on of these practices on the families and
Um,
community.
okay. All right. Economically, child marriage and adolescent childbearing reduce girls' lifetime earnings. Like I have mentioned earlier, it also restricts labor force participation and increase public spending on health and social protection. At the larger level, uh, losses include like reduced gross GDP growth, lower human capital accumulation, and intergenerational impacts as children of adolescent mothers face worse health and schooling outcomes. You get it? So it drastically affects our economic. In fact, the World Bank models show large economic costs to countries that fail to prevent early marriage and childbearing. So it drastically negatively affects our economy.
Oh yes, I do see. Definitely, it's going to affect us in a drastic way. But I don't know. Some would say the families are benefiting, given the fact that in these child marriages, there is giveaway, or as we call it, dowry. So the families
Okay.
do get The families do get down. Yeah, but
Somehow, yes.
yes, somehow. So what I would say is, yes, we do have economic consequences, but how about the
Yes.
psychological and emotional impacts that this has on the child brides and their teenage mothers? What do you think they go through?
Oh, they actually go through a whole lot, given all of this. They go through a whole lot. They go through trauma, of course. They go through psychological emotions, high rates of depression. We have anxiety, and trauma for for a for a child at teenage age will definitely go through uh, trauma from sexual and domestic violences. There's going to be social isolation. Somehow the child does not get exposed and so does not even know how to socialize in the society. They go through stigma, kind of, even from their mates that seem to advance in their education. And so, to a very large extent, it also goes to suicidal ideation are also documented from research now. There's also limited social support, like I mentioned earlier. And then there's this curtailed autonomy. It is the husband that will have to tell, okay, give every instruction, no rights, nothing to talk about. You get it. And the stresses of early parenting magnify, or let me say, have more effect on their mental health, giving them a lot of high risk on their health. Then access to psychosocial services is often scarce too, a whole lot. So it affects psychologically. There was a time I went when I had my last child. So while going for antenatal, I met a very young girl with her mom at the hospital. And then because I am a teacher, I was curious. I wanted to know. But after looking at her, I saw that she was pregnant. Then I had to move closer to the mother. That how old is she? And then I was told she was barely 14. And so I was shocked that how come? Now, the point is, this is not about early marriage now. This is teenage pregnancy. How come? And this is even coming from uh, a family of elite, because obviously looking at the mom looks social and she speaks very, very well. So I was surprised that such a girl could be impregnated. But what can parents also do? I think on this part, even if the parents had done sexual education for that child, but then it still boils down to the individual child now to know what they want. So for that girl, for her to have decided to be impregnated, it is something very, very, let me say, depressing. So after engaging with her mom, she was very shy. She felt so bad. But I had to reassure her that, okay, fine, the deed has been done, but you know, you have to move on. So somehow it affects them a whole lot. I engaged her too. I tried to hear from her. She said a whole lot of things. Part of what she mentioned to me was that at that moment, she felt like killing herself, like committing suicide, of which she never mentioned this to her mom. But I had to come in. So when I came in, I diplomatically informed the mom that, see, your child is on the verge of doing this. You have accepted what has happened, but then she's on the verge of doing this. She's on the verge of committing suicide. You need to work seriously with her so that she does not eventually commit suicide. So it has a whole lot of psychological effects on them. And another thing is they do not want to relate with other people in the society. They feel they want to be secluded because they felt they have done, in her own case now, she felt she has done something abominative. And of course, she does not want to socialize with other people in the society, given that our mates are still in school. So it does have a lot of psychological effects on them.
It's so sad that you had to witness this and see this young girl going through that. I think there's a wide range of lack of guidance to the teenage mothers and expectant. These are literally children, and it is upon us,
Exactly.
the yes, we are supposed to be doing the due diligence. But anyway, which would make me question, what are the immediate and long-term health risks that are associated with early pregnancies for these young girls? Miss Amina? Hello? Miss Amina?
Hello. Yes, yes, Mr. Dike, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. I was
Hello?
saying, yes, I was saying, given the early pregnancies with these young girls, what is the immediate and long-term health risks that they face?
Yes, hello?
Hello,
Hello?
you can hear me?
Hello? Are we together? I can
Yes, Miss
barely
Amina,
hear
I can hear
you.
you.
Oh my God.
Oh wow. It must be the network. Sorry. Hello.
I don't know. It's freaking.
Hello, Miss Amina?
Yes, Mr. Dike.
Yes. I was saying, what are the immediate and long-term health risks that are associated with the early pregnancies for these young girls? Hello,
Hello?
Miss.
Don't know.
Yes, Miss Amina, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can, but it's breaking. Why? What
There's
happened?
heavy rains. There's heavy rains here. I think it's the reason causing the network flip. Can you hear me now? Hello, Miss Amina? Hello, Miss Amina? Miss Amina, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, Miss Amina, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. Mashallah. I can hear you.
Oh wow,
Hello?
finally.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I
It
can.
it went off.
Ah, the network, Africa. So
Africa?
I was saying, what are the immediate and long-term health risks with child early pregnancy? Did you hear that?
Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Oh my God. Hello?
Miss Amina, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I had what are the immediate?
Oh, wow, thank God. Okay. What are the immediate and long-term health risks associated with early pregnancies for the young girls?
What's happening with this network? I wouldn't know.
Oh no.
You know what? Can you just help adjust that? I don't know. It's breaking. Can you hear at your end? I can't hear too. I was only hearing immediate. Hello? Hello, Miss Mary?
Yes,
Hello?
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Okay, yes. I've tried to even switch my network, okay? I can
Oh,
hear you, okay?
okay. I was saying
Yeah.
what are the immediate and long-term health risks associated with early pregnancies in young girls?
Okay, immediate and long-term risk. Okay,
Yes.
a lot of risk. Thank you. A lot of risk. There's the likelihood of what we call the eclampsia, that's as obstetric complications. Then somehow for teenage pregnancy or early childhood, they get to have unsafe abortion now. And somehow they get to inherit a kind of severe infection because they could visit a quack doctor who will do that for them and would not manage it well, and at the end of the day, it results into infections which raise mortality and morbidity. Then the newborns of these teenage mothers, they also face higher risk of preterm birth, low birth weight, stillbirth, and neonatal death. And for the long term, there is this repeated pregnancies, chronic health problems, mental health issues, including higher risk of depression and suicide, and poorer health outcomes across the life cost. So a whole lot of risk are embedded in these in the long term and the short term risk. So these children get to experience a whole lot that it's in it indirectly affects the society and also affects the newborns too. Hello, hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much for that
You're
vivid.
welcome.
Yeah, so let's look at a little intervention. What successful interventions, including education and community engagement, have reduced child marriage rates?
Uh, a whole lot, a whole lot. One of it is counseling, constant counseling in the school. If we look at this teenage getting married, many of them are usually in the secondary school. And so it is expected that in the secondary school, the school itself has a person whom we call a counselor now that would always counsel them such that even if they do not have a role model that they could look up to in school, a whole lot of things would have been told to them, or they would have been exposed to a whole lot of good things that would make them feel, oh, I shouldn't toe this path. So counseling would help. So proven approaches like keeping girls in school. Then we should also have integrated interventions, combining livelihood training, then sexual reproductive, let me say sexual education now, sexual reproductive health services, then community-led social norms change too. And then when we also have target reforms, they also play a vital role in helping us to put a stop to this. Then I think our constitution too is also expected to, there should be a punishment kind of to the parents who would give their child out at this age for marriage. There should be a consequence in the book. Parents who do that should be brought to book. Then multi-component program that address economic, social, and service barriers will also go a long way to help this. Then evaluation and World Bank UNICEF briefs documents reductions where these approaches are scaled thoughtfully. So if all of these, if we put them together, I think they are going to help put a stop to this.
It would actually be great if, yes, probably some laws they're implemented in putting a stop to this.
Yeah.
But then we see various countries like Somalia and so forth, and Saudi Arabia, they're accepting this. They're giving a green light to the child marriages, which worries. Even Iraq is accepting this, and you're wondering what is happening. But I would say, how effective are the legal reforms, the policies, and the partnerships between the governments, the NGOs, and the international organizations in regards to this?
Well, legal reforms, they are necessary, but they are not sufficient. You get it? They are necessary, but they are not sufficient. Countries that combine laws with birth registration, enforcement, social protection, education access, and community programs make the most progress. So we should have birth registration. I know that back here in Nigeria, that before, what we do have for our birth registration is just on a paper, just a sheet of paper. There is no properly documented record for it, or maybe we should something that is going to, that will be online, that maybe in the future, if there is anything, one can always go to the internet to search for it, and then boom, it will appear. So now when we have that, before we do not have it, but I think now we're having it. And then enforcement too, then social protection, then education access and community programs. All of these put together would help to change and address these issues across Africa.
That
Hello?
would be nice. Yes, I heard you. Thank you for your submission on that. Now, it would
Okay.
pique my mind, what exactly can these various partners, the individuals, the organizations, the policymakers, what can they do right now that can help to end this double crisis of child marriage and early pregnancies?
Hello? Are we together?
Yes, we are together. Can
Hello?
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I was saying,
Okay. Your question again.
what advice would you give to the individuals, the organizations, and the policymakers that they could do right now to help end this double crisis of early marriage and early pregnancies, of child marriage and early pregnancy?
Okay. First off, one of it is there should be a support community-led social norms change. Our religious leaders and our religious and traditional leaders, they need to be informed. Hello? Our traditional leaders and our religious leaders need to be appropriately informed and fully informed about these. They need to be informed about the dangers around this. They need to be informed, they need to be enlightened so that they can go down and talk with their people who happens to be some of the leaders or elders in the society. Then we can also have increased access to youth-friendly sexual and reproductive health services. Also, in a way, I am not in support because I would always advise children that abstain. However, to avoid some of the dangers that are around these, Contraceptive, I would also suggest that uh, the education on the use on contraceptive should also be made. Then there should also be scale evidence based, like grants, cash transfers, and economic programs that reduce the financial drivers of child marriage. Then expand and fund girls' secondary education and safe pathways back to school for teen mothers. For example, children that okay for teenage pregnancy now and not early marriage now. That okay after you've been impregnated and you have given birth to your child, what next? So there should be a provision from the government now that fine you have given birth, but you need to move on. You need to move ahead. There should be a kind of setup for them to fall in back to school and also somehow fund them, maybe through grants now, for them to be able to go back to school and finish their education so that they can also become important person in the society. Then also strengthen civil registration like birth age documentation and enforce laws together with community support. I think all of this put together will help to put a stop to this crisis.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Miss Amina. We have come to the end of our discussion. Sorry about the bad network, but I hope the audience and whoever is listening in has got a touch on what exactly we're discussing and can do better. It is upon us to actually start creating the change. So, yes, we hope. And to
Exactly.
give you an official thanks, I would like to invite
All
the
right.
director of FIDAUS Initiative of Academic Excellency to give the closing remarks and an official
Okay.
thank you. Mr. Abdul Karim, you're welcome.
I think I want to ask for a very quick request. I want to make a very quick one. I want you to give Mrs. Amina maybe 60 seconds to 90 seconds to tell us about our school, so that our people can get to know more about the school, the location of the school, the levels, basic, secondary. Mr. Amina, we have branches in Nigeria, in Kampala, Uganda, in
Okay.
Tanzania, in South Sudan, in Rwanda, in Zambia. So we have branches across Africa. So it will be a nice opportunity for you to tell us at least briefly about your school before I give the closing remarks. Thank you.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Thank you so very much for this opportunity. All right. Okay. Chest Intellect International School is a faith-based school located in Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. Curriculum run across nursery, grade, the child to commit Quran to memory. We have a whole lot of top-notch facilities that help these children to learn. And our vision is to create an internationally known environment for secular, Islamic, and moral education. And our mission to mold intellect by helping them develop higher order thinking skills, a chaste mind with high level of purity and morals using a combination of core knowledge curriculum, Quran, and direct instructions. We've got competent teachers who have vast with the Quran and who are also very sound in academics with strong teaching methodology. So I would say Chest Intellect International School is is a school that anyone would bring his or her child to or children to that won't have a regret. Hello?
All right, thank you so much for
You're
that
most welcome.
brief introduction about the school. Equally, Dr. Kafayat has been a friend of this family. Dr. Kafayat is also my would-be head of department. Dr. Kafayat,
Yeah.
if you have just a comment in the next 60 seconds before we give the closing remarks.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been wonderful listening to that. However, I have a teenager here who wants to ask a question.
Good Ma, I have a question about the girl that you talk about that the reason why she wants to the reason why she collect a soul to herself, commit suicide to herself. And why is she want to herself?
Oh my God. Hello?
Hello?
What's your question again about the girl?
She wants to come. I don't know that that what is the reason why she wants to commit a suicide?
What is the reason?
Why she wants to commit a suicide?
Yes, the reason is because she felt at first when she was pregnant, of course, everybody, according to her, that everybody, most of her friends, they abandoned her. They ran away from her. It sounds abominative to to their ears that their classmates got pregnant. How come, despite a lot of measures put in place, maybe by the school and the parents, maybe the advice, the counseling, and the all-time counseling now, and then at the end of the day, she got pregnant. She felt disappointed in herself. That was why she felt okay, she could commit suicide. It was only her mom that stood by her at that moment. So even the people that she felt, okay, these are my friends, these are people I could trust, they abandoned her. And somehow she felt, okay, that should be the end of the world, which is not supposed to be.
Did she later died?
No, 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 no. When she said that to me, I approached the mom and made her realize that, okay, the child is thinking or intending to do this. And then somehow, but I never had the contact of the mom to do a kind of follow up. But I was glad to do that.
Thank you, ma.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much for that wonderful question and the feedback from Mrs. Amina. Thank you so much. We appreciate your
You're
time.
welcome.
We
Thank you,
appreciate
sir. Thank
you
you, sir.
sharing your insights, experience, particularly those life experiences. Very touching and very inspirational. We thank you so much for speaking against a vice that is very common in Africa. And as you mentioned, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, you've given us opportunity to discuss very silent and pertinent questions that most people run away from. We pretend, some people hide under the guise of religion, and I am glad that
Exactly.
you've taken care of that. And so no religion will preach that you should marry your daughter at that tender age when they are not prepared, when they have no experience about what family is all about. Becoming a mother, they are not ready, the body is not matured. And so
Yes.
instead of sending them to school, most parents think it's an opportunity for them to make money. In South Sudan, like Adeke rightly said, in some places there, you pay as many as 100 cows to marry a lady in
Yeah.
those parts of the world, and so it is a means of making money. Recently, our organization had to intervene where a lady was married out like that, and I think the family was given 20 cows, and each
Hmm.
for every 5 cows, she must give the guy a baby, and so those 20 cows translates to 4 children, and that should happen within the next 5 6 years. And so it was too much for a young girl to be given that.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. In fact, sorry to cut you in. I thought, okay, there's a question that would come. There was a story, to not a story per se. It was actually a life experience. I experienced it personally. He was a neighbor security guard. He was barely 19 years old, or let's say 18. The boy now, the guy now, he got married to a 12-year-old child. I'd say they are Fulanis. He got married to a 12-year-old child that would not even want to do anything. This girl will practically leave the boy's place and come to my place for shelter, kind of. And then I would have to feed her for breakfast, lunch, and evening sometimes. And once it is around 5 o'clock, you see the girl, she start fidgeting, kind of. And then I would ask, what's the problem? Then she would say she's afraid of having sex. That's a 12-year-old child now. But you see, when it happened, I could not do anything because the guy would come back to tell me that he had paid her dowry, and so we should allow him to enjoy his rights. You see, that was very, very sad and disheartening. All we could do was to send him away, or let me say, we allowed the girl to even run away. We organized that so that she could go back to her parents. And then if he will have to run after her, no problem, go and get her. But at that moment, we do not want to even experience that in that in our area then. So it's very sad that we still have people who still think uh, towards that part and not wanting to educate their children, or does not even want to make them social in the society.
thank you, thank you so much.
Excuse
You're
me,
most
ma'am.
welcome, sir.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma-
I just want to thank you so much for your
yes,
time
ma'am.
for sharing your
What
insight
about
and experience
juvenile
with us.
housewives?
Hello.
What about
Hello.
juvenile housewives?
Hello.
We still have
Hello?
one of our participants asking a question. Okay, let's take that quickly. Yes, you are asking what about what?
What about? I didn't get that question.
Yes, ma'am. What about juvenile housewives that are younger than
Juvenile.
18 years?
I didn't get
What
that
about juvenile
question.
housewives?
Juvenile housewives.
Yes, that was the question, man.
Okay. Juvenile. What about juvenile housewives? What happened to them? What about them?
Some of them are younger than 18 and
Okay. And
aren't ready to have sex. Maybe the guy went to a village, then met a woman and asked her to sign some papers, and she's an illiterate,
okay.
and just get her daughter and says, maybe my daughter, don't worry, your daughter will be in my care. She will be learning how to do whatever occupation she wants to do.
Okay. I really do not get your point.
I
Uh,
mean that
okay. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, what about those who go to the village to get women free of charge just to sign some papers?
Okay, anyways, if I'm to answer your question, in one of the questions that I was asked, that how do we address or put a stop to this crisis, we have said that I mentioned that the religious leaders, the elders in the community should be enlightened, that people should not just come to them, cajole them because of money, and then give out their children for free. And then at the end of the day, their children earn torture or earn what they are not deserving of at the end of the day. Did you get that? So if parents, religious leaders, and other people in the societies, they are enlightened, if they are aware of all of these risks and dangers, they are also going to help to put a stop to all of this?
Thank you so
Was
much,
that
Mr.
question
Amina, for
answered?
yes, it has been answered.
Okay.
So thank you so
Thank
much
you,
once
sir.
again, man, for your time. We appreciate
You're,
that. And on behalf of our board of directors, we want to genuinely say thank you, ma, for sharing your
you're,
experience, your
yes,
research
sir.
with Africans. And like you said, we are all stakeholders and we should play our role. Parents should be very
Exactly.
responsible. They should also pay attention to their children, especially send them to school and make them very useful citizens instead of marrying them at that early stage to get money. Most of them are doing it for economic reasons and some for cultural reasons.
Exactly.
Probably. And so we thank you
Yes.
so much, and we hope that
Okay.
in our subsequent programs, if you are invited, you will oblige us with your presence. Thank you so much, ma.
Yes, you
Adeke,
are
over
most
to you.
welcome. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Miss Adeke. I think this is a
Thank you
powerful
too.
symptom of wider injustice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you too for honoring our invite. Now
My pleasure.
to all our viewers, you can find us on our social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at FIR Initiative. On LinkedIn and Facebook, we're at Frida's Initiative for Academic Excellency. And our official website is www.fridauscenter.org. Thank you everyone for tuning in and see you next month on the last Sunday. Ciao.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for having me.